Every day is a new chance to learn and grow. Grow every day with Everyday English Podcast.
Hey, real question. Have you ever been in the middle of a conversation and then suddenly you just stop talking? Not because you didn't want to speak, but because your brain went, uh,
Totally. I've been there. It's like you know what you want to say, but you just can't put it together. And you freeze, just stuck.
and while you're scrambling for that one word, the other person is just looking at you, waiting.
It's the worst feeling. You feel stuck, maybe a little embarrassed, and your heart beats faster, and you think, why is this so hard? Why can't I just say what I want to say?
If you felt that, trust me, you're not alone, and you are definitely in the right place. Welcome to Coffee and Podcast, a series from the Everyday English Podcast channel. I'm Danny.
And I'm Rachel. We're here to help you speak more confidently, more smoothly, without all the stress.
So here's what we're diving into today. Why do these awkward pauses happen? And more importantly, how can we keep the conversation going even when the perfect word just won't come?
This podcast isn't about perfect English. It's about real conversations with real pauses and real progress.
So grab your coffee, take a deep breath. Let's talk about how to stay calm, stay confident, and speak with more flow. This is going to be good.
Can I be honest for a second? I still remember the first time I tried to speak with a native English speaker, and I just froze. They were speaking so fast, so confidently, and I couldn't keep up.
Was it like you understood most of what they were saying, but the vibe was just too much? Like everyone was talking so quickly and naturally. Did it make you feel like if you didn't respond fast enough, you couldn't really fit in?
Yes, exactly that. It wasn't that I didn't understand. It was just the pressure, the rhythm, the speed. Everything felt a little too much.
And when that happens, your brain goes into panic mode. You start second guessing yourself. What if I say something wrong? What if they don't understand me?
What if I sound awkward and make the conversation even more awkward?
What if they think I'm not good at English at all? Or even worse, what if I say something and they just smile politely because they didn't really get it?
Yeah, exactly. Those thoughts just pile up. And instead of saying anything, I ended up saying nothing. I froze.
And later you're replaying the whole thing in your head, like a bad movie, right?
Yep. And the worst part? I actually knew the words, but I was just too afraid to say them.
That's what we forget. Performance anxiety doesn't mean you don't know English. It means you're trying so hard to get it right that your brain hits pause.
And that pressure, it doesn't always come from grammar or vocabulary. It comes from inside, from fear, self-doubt, and that voice saying, don't mess this up.
Exactly. You're not just speaking, you're judging yourself as you go.
And all that overthinking just makes you freeze, even when you do know how to respond.
But here's the mindset shift we want you to try. Fluency doesn't come from fear. It grows when you give yourself permission to try, to mess up, to grow.
So next time you feel that pressure rising, say this to yourself, I'm allowed to sound unsure. I'm learning.
Confidence doesn't come first. Courage does.
And if you get stuck mid-sentence, that's okay. Just pause, take a breath, say something simple, or describe what you mean the best you can.
The goal isn't to be flawless, it's to keep the flow going. And you know what? Sometimes just staying in the conversation, even with a short reaction, is already a win.
Saying things like, oh, really? That's so cool. Or, yeah, same here. That's you participating. That's real communication.
Yep, you don't always need a long answer. Just a quick reaction like, no way. That sounds fun. Wow, I didn't know that. True, I get that.
And don't forget your tone and face. A smile, a nod, a mm-hmm. Those little things say a lot. They show the other person, hey, I'm with you. I hear you.
Those small, natural responses build connection. That's conversation. Even just reacting with energy and warmth, that's speaking too.
And with every little reaction, you're training your brain. I can do this. I'm part of this.
Here's another great trick. Thinking time expressions. Native speakers use them all the time.
Thinking time expressions? Wait, what exactly do you mean by that?
You know, those little phrases people say when they need a second to think but don't want to go totally silent.
Oh, like when someone says, let me think about that. Or, that's a good question.
Exactly. It's about keeping the rhythm of the conversation. You're showing the other person, I heard you, I'm thinking, I'll respond.
That makes so much sense. I've heard people say those things, but I didn't realize it was such a useful tool.
So next time you freeze, try one. Say it calmly. Take a second, then speak.
Yeah, and if you're nervous, that's totally normal. But you don't have to wait for a perfect moment to practice.
Right. You can start small, like talking to a friend who makes you feel comfortable.
Or even just chatting to yourself in the mirror. I've done that more times than I can count.
Me too. Or try using a speech to text app. Just talk into your phone and see how much it understands. It's a great way to build confidence and check your clarity.
That's a great one. I should try it myself. So let's remember that the key is finding ways to speak without pressure. That's how we build real fluency, step by step.
The goal isn't perfection, it's progress, flow, and connection.
So now, what about those moments when you know what you want to say, but you just can't remember the word?
Oh, yeah, it's right there in your brain, but it won't come out. You're like, ugh, what is it called again?
And while you're searching, the conversation is still going. You start panicking, and then silence.
Yeah. But here's the thing, you don't actually need the exact word every time.
Exactly. You can describe it. Just explain what it does, what it looks like, or how people use it.
Like, let's say you forget the word traffic jam. You can say, when the cars aren't moving and everything's stuck on the road. People will understand you.
Or if you forget ATM, you can say, that machine where you get money out with your card.
Exactly. Or instead of thermometer, just say, the thing that checks your temperature. And the best part is, native speakers do this too. It's not cheating, it's communication.
And sometimes this kind of description actually helps the conversation. It makes it more interactive.
Right. The other person might jump in and say, oh, you mean the thermometer? And boom, you've made a connection.
So instead of freezing, just try explaining. Even if it's a little clumsy, that's okay. You're still in the conversation.
And here's a cool way to practice this. When you learn a new word or phrase, don't just memorize it. Try using it with 2 or 3 people that week.
Totally. That's how it becomes yours. Not just something you heard or read, but something you actually use.
I call it the 3-person challenge. If I learn something new, I try to sneak it into 3 different conversations.
That's genius. So simple, but it works.
And the more you do that, the less likely you are to forget the word when you really need it.
So just remember, if the word won't come, don't stop. Describe it. Use what you know. And keep going. All right, so let's talk about something that makes a huge difference in how natural your English sounds, but most learners don't even realize it.
Yeah, this one isn't about vocabulary or grammar. It's about rhythm.
When your English sounds robotic or too choppy, it doesn't just affect how others hear you. It affects how you feel when you're speaking, too.
Yeah, totally. You might feel more nervous or self-conscious like, I don't sound natural. And that makes you pause even more.
And for the listener, it can feel harder to follow. Not because your English is wrong, but because the rhythm is off. It's like listening to music with no beat. It takes more effort to understand.
But here's the good news. Rhythm can be trained. Just like music, it's a skill. And with practice, it gets easier.
Okay, that makes sense. But when you say rhythm, do you mean the speed of how we talk?
Great question. I'm talking about something called chunking. It's when you group words together in natural phrases, like how native speakers speak.
Oh, how does that actually work?
Think of it this way. Instead of saying each word separately like, I want to go to the store, you say it in chunks. I want to go to the store.
That already sounds way more natural. It's like we're not just reading words, we're delivering ideas.
Exactly. Native speakers don't speak one word at a time. They speak in phrases, in meaningful units.
So, how can we practice speaking in chunks?
Great question. Let's get practical. Here's one way I like to do it. Listen, pause, and repeat in chunks. So first, pick a short sentence from a podcast or video. Then listen to how the native speaker says it. Notice the pauses, the tone, the rhythm. Pause the audio and repeat it in the same rhythm, not just word by word, but in phrases.
Oh, okay. So, instead of copying everything all at once, you break it down. Like, I'm going to the store. Do you want anything?
Exactly. Don't rush it. You're training your ear to hear chunks and your mouth to say them with flow. Match their tone, their speed, their emotion. It's like karaoke, but for speaking.
I love that. English karaoke. That sounds so much fun.
Yeah, that's the point. If it's fun, you'll actually keep doing it. And the more you do it, the more your brain and mouth start working together. That's how fluency really builds.
Exactly. It's not about perfection. It's about building that natural flow day by day.
For sure. And if you want to take it one step further, here's a great method. Try making your own chunk-based speaking prompts.
Ooh, tell me more. What does that look like?
Let's say you pick a daily topic, like ordering at a cafe. Instead of trying to make long, complicated sentences, break them down into natural phrases like, "Hi, can I get, I'll have a, that's all, thank you." You practice saying each one with rhythm, just like real conversation.
So you're training your brain to use ready-made building blocks, chunks that native speakers actually say.
Exactly. You can do this with any situation. Shopping, small talk, asking for help. Make a little list of 3 to 5 short, useful chunks and say them out loud in different combinations.
And that makes it easier to speak naturally because your brain isn't building everything from scratch.
You got it. Over time, those chunks become automatic. And that's the secret to sounding fluent. Not knowing every word, but knowing how to group the words you already know.
That's such a great point. And you know what I used to practice and remember those prompts? Recording short voice memos, like just talking about my day in English for 30 seconds. It's super simple, but when I listen back, I can hear where I paused too much or broke the rhythm.
That's such a good tip. But honestly, I know a lot of people avoid this because it feels awkward to hear their own voice.
Oh, yeah, totally get that. It can feel a little weird at first, but here's the thing. The more uncomfortable it feels, the more helpful it actually is. It gives you real feedback, and that helps you grow so much faster.
Definitely. It's one of the fastest ways to improve your rhythm and fluency, especially if you make it a quick daily habit.
I know, it's about building muscle memory for natural rhythm, so it becomes automatic when you speak.
Yeah, and that's something you can build even in just 5 minutes a day. It doesn't have to be long, but if you're consistent, it can make a huge difference.
All right, now let's go recap why those pauses happen and what we can do about them.
Right. First, we talk the feeling of what if I mess up that stops you mid-sentence.
And what's the mindset shift we need here?
Let go of perfection. Give yourself permission to try, even if it's not perfect. That's how we grow.
Exactly. And to help stay in the conversation, we talked about using short reactions and thinking time expressions, right?
Yep, like saying, totally, or that's a great question. These little phrases keep the flow going and give you a second to think.
So good. Then we tackled another big reason for pauses, not finding the right words.
And what's the best way to handle that?
Describe what you mean as best you can. And remember, if you learn a new word or phrase, try using it with 2 or 3 people to lock it in.
Yes. And finally, we talked about rhythm. When your English sounds too choppy, it slows everything down.
The solution? Chunking. Break your sentences into natural phrases, just like native speakers.
And practice shadowing almost like karaoke for English. Listen, repeat, and mimic the rhythm.
Even 30 seconds a day of practicing or recording yourself can lead to a huge difference over time.
Exactly. So whether it's battling anxiety, finding the right words, or improving rhythm, consistency is key.
Small daily steps build real confidence and fluency. And remember, you're not aiming for perfection. You're building progress, flow, and connection. So here's your speaking challenge this week. We'll give you one simple question and a short answer in natural English chunks. Your job? Repeat it out loud, then try saying your own version.
Ready? Here's the question. What did you do last weekend?
And here's one natural answer. Listen carefully to the rhythm and the chunks.
Slept in a little, and then I went to a cafe near my house. I met up with a friend, and we talked for about an hour. In the evening, I watched a movie at home and just relaxed.
Let's do it together. Repeat after me line by line.
Well, on Saturday, I slept in a little, and then I went to a cafe near my house. I met up with a friend, and we talked for about an hour. In the evening, I watched a movie at home and just relaxed.
Now it's your turn. Set a timer for 30 seconds and try answering the question yourself. What did you do last weekend?
Use short phrases, not single words, not long paragraphs. Just speak like you're telling a friend.
And if you get stuck, it's okay. Use a thinking time expression like, let me think, or I'm trying to remember.
The goal is to stay in the flow, not to be perfect.
And if you try it, leave us a comment. I did the 30-second challenge, or your response to the question. We'd love to hear from you.
And while you're there, let us know what you learned today. What part of this episode helped you the most? Or if there's something you're still struggling with, tell us. We're here to help.
And hey, if you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share it with a friend who's learning English too. Let's grow this learning community together.
Remember this, fluency doesn't come from being perfect. It comes from trying and showing up. We'll see you in the next episode. Until then, keep going, keep growing, and keep talking. You've got this.